everybody. Hi, my name is Todd Bright. Welcome to All in Gestures Redline Live, which is our feedback and Q&A session. And right now we just finished our class. This is on a Saturday, and we're going to be catching up with some feedback for some of our members. And yeah, that's it. Let's see here. And for those of you who are joining us on YouTube or elsewhere and catching this recording, I just want to let you know that I have also a basics of gesture drawing tutorial, and if you would like to check that out, you can go on the link on either here on YouTube or on my Instagram, and there's a tutorial you can get, and there's an extra bonus workshop included in that package. And we start with the very basics of even what is gesture drawing and why are we doing it, and getting into the basics of getting started and some of the reasonings behind that. So yeah, check that out. Click on my links and stuff. And who's in here? T-Pits, welcome in. All right, we got some folks coming in from our class. I told them we were going to do this right now, so welcome, welcome. I love the banter. And again, this is also a Q&A session, so if there's any questions, I'm going to try to monitor our good old chat there. That's it. Let's see here. Okay, so let's just get into it. Whoop, there we go. All right. So we have just a few artists today, and so we're going to get into this. This is Gianni's work. Very nice, Gianni. This is very cool. This was from a few weeks back when we did Kingdom Hearts, for those of you who are Kingdom Hearts fans. And our model Ralph did the thing. And Gianni, this was very cool. It's a very so that's what the giant feet are about, if you haven't seen the costume. As a matter of fact, here's that pose. Here it is, Mr. Ralph. That's from our workshop. And what you did there, I think it was very, what would you call it? Very similar to what our model was doing. But just to give the feedback, I might push that a little bit. Let's see. Because, you know, knowing that this is a video game and this is like a warrior kind of warrior pose in a way, like he's got his weapon, right? This giant key thing or whatever. I might push that a little bit more, just kind of like taking the idea, right, from our model, from Ralph, and pushing that idea. So like trying to give some energy, maybe thrust forward there, like he's ready for the action there. Maybe he even brings his hand out. You know, you could try that as well. But anything to push that that motion, and you could. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Well, we got to do a quick tech thing here. Sorry, guys. My computer says I got to do something, so I'm going to do something. Sorry about that, everybody. How embarrassing. Welcome to live TV. We're going to switch this around, chat amongst yourselves. And all right. Sorry, I had to do a tech thing there. My bad. All right, let's do this thing. Let's see if that works. Okay, here we go. All right, so basically, let's go back to that train of thought. Pushing it forward a little bit, thinking warrior, right? I don't mind the bent leg. Definitely try that. You know, so maybe even like, you know, Ralph kind of has his head kind of down, you know. So yeah, go ahead and thrust that head forward a little bit. You know, and he has that. This is the character Sora from that game. Has his spiky hair. I don't have the design in front of me, but he's got that hoodie on, you know, and those are just details, right? But overall body language, let's turn them into, oh, let's keep your foot there. We have it. Very nice. And just trying to push it a little bit. Okay. There's your key weapon, whatever you call that thing. Key of something, destiny, power, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of a thing. So da, 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 da. And it gives it just a little bit more drama. All right. So yeah, very cool. All right, moving on. I think our Redline Live will be relatively short today. But we're just going to power through. So this one I really liked. I thought you did a great job with that twist. Very nice. It's like he's striking down, you know, this moment here. Let's see, if I were to be picky about it, I would say that kind of falls in under that same line of just pushing that pose. I mean, again, I think you did a great job. I'm gonna I'm gonna move this sketch up a little bit. Sorry, here we go. I'm gonna see if this is just a little bit of an experiment here. And I actually have this pose up here as well. There it is. Very nice pose. I think your drawing nailed what Ralph did. Very cool. But I'm kind of wondering, how can we take it a little further? And I may or may not get this right. But again, thinking of this warrior moment, like this big swipe, this big swoosh, you know, and he's twisted hard, you know, and I like the dip down on the shoulder you got. Let's keep that head where you got it. Very nice, some sort of spikes, ding, ding, ding. And I might drop that. I almost want to bring this down here more. I'm going to try to keep that angle, but I wonder what we can do to play with that silhouette a little bit. I wonder. All right, so I'm trying to clear that hand of the body a little bit. I think this area right here, and I'm not doing a really pretty job so far, but I think this area here is getting a little layered on top of itself. There's a lot going on in this spot, right? So the main point is that swoosh of that weapon, right? Let's see. I could probably even drop that shoulder even more. It's like, picture this is in motion still. It's just happened, you know. Maybe he stepped forward with his giant Mickey shoes, tennis shoes, whatever he's wearing. You know, and again, we like to take the models, and I'm going to rotate him a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah, like what you did was fine, but I'm pushing even the rotation. You know, this is what we talk about when we talk about, you know, like pushing the pose, right? Like really pushing what's in front of you. Hey, Dory's here. What's up, Dory? I might even push that arm up, you know, just pushing, pushing, pushing. And I think these like fighting moments are great times to experiment with that, you know. I don't know if I like my bent arm or not. I kind of like your straight arm that you did, but it's like you gotta experiment, right? So I might do a little bit different of a design to that back leg there. That's the one in back. Instead of flat-footed, maybe I have him up like on the ball of his foot. You know, so you have like a bend there. Does that make sense? And now this, and these are things I try to think about when I'm doing a design, you know. like composition in a painting with an environment or a character or a person in a space, composition you think is really important, right? Because it is, because you want all things to lead to that character. You're staging the character, right? Think of a stage moment. The same thing within a pose. You want that to be clearly staged, instead of just things overlapping each other, like you can't see anything, but maybe you bend this, twist that, release that, turn, all of a sudden things become a nice silhouette, right? And you can see things clearly. So, but yeah, that's it. Again, being picky. I liked what you did as far as emulating that pose. Um, but yeah, it's a great job. Thanks for submitting your work, sir. Gianni's one of our members who watches our recordings, and that's how he participates. So thank you for jumping in and submitting your work for review. Sweet. All right, let's see here. We have RW. Okay, let's see here. RW, we got this pose. I think this was really nice. I just wanted to say good job on this one. Proportions look great. Kind of have that warrior moment attitude. I know it was a straight-on pose like this, but I liked it, so nice job. Let's see, this pose. What was she doing here? Let's see here. I think her back was up against the wall here. Sorry, I'm trying to find it and see if we could reference it. Because to me, I wonder if we can push an attitude here. You know what I mean? Like push a, or an action, I should say. It's like, is she looking out for her friends? That kind of a thing. Let's see here. Well, I can't find it, so we're just going to jump in here. Like, I kind of wonder if we could, like, maybe push that action a little bit. Like, maybe it's like, is she looking this way? Back against the wall? Or is she peering out from something? The main idea is like thinking of the action of the pose or the attitude. And sometimes it's like, since I don't have the pose in my memory or in front of me, I just feel this drawing, my gut says that it needs a bit of a nudge. Like she's maybe bending her legs. It's like, and sometimes it helps to get into the pose, kind of like maybe her hand is up, like up in the thing, and she's looking. She's looking out. Where are they? Maybe she's trapped in a corner. I don't know. In your drawing, she's looking up, but I'm just switching things around just to say, how can we push the idea a little bit here, And you got to try stuff, right? And that's what animation is. It's coming up with ideas, and really asking questions. I don't know if that's her hair or not. Maybe it's close. For you Ray fans out there, forgive me. And she has all of those clothings and stuff. Okay. So all that to say, just pushing that idea, even if it means changing drastically sometimes what the model's doing. It's like use your imagination, kind of a moment. Okay. And you could even take my pose and be like, that's exactly what I don't want to do, but I'm going to push my idea this way, things like that. Again, this was another back on the wall pose here. And I wonder if we can use that wall, if it's back here. Like maybe she's really looking around the corner, like really leaning in, and really turning the head. Maybe, again, this is just all pushing. Like maybe I'll drop that shoulder. That's her crazy hair. I don't know. And let's see here. Let's see. Her waist to be about there. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. I don't know. Just trying something with the leg here, bending it. But all that to say, it's like if she's leaning around a corner, like maybe push that even more, like really exaggerate that lean. And then figure out all the other goodies after you set your pose, like the details of those floppy pieces of cloth and all that stuff, okay? And your feet, gotta make sure ground plane somewhat makes sense here. But yeah, okay. So if you're gonna lean, like maybe really have her lean, like what's going through her mind? Like at what moment, like who's sneaking up on her? Who's she waiting for? Or is it Chewie? It's like, I'm gonna play a prank on Chewie, or is it like 50 stormtroopers? Or, is it her boyfriend? Whatever. All right, cool. Very nice work, RW. Thank you for submitting your stuff. And we have one more, Mr. Corey. All right, nice stuff that week, Corey. This is, that week. Last week, this was Rey again. And really nice. I don't know if these are digital or marker, but very nice. Some good stuff here, sir. Let's see here. I love this one on the bottom here. I don't think you can see my cursor. I'll just circle it. This one, love it. Really nice. They captured that really well. Let's see. I have another one here. Let's pick on, I was going to pick on this one. Maybe I will anyway. All right, let's do it. Okay, so just to pick on it, I'm going to move it a little more centered here. Give me a second. There we go. Blow it up. Again, just pushing that moment. I don't have the pose in front of me, but I don't know. I like what you did, but I wonder if we could do even more. Like maybe push that arm up more. Again, just like I was talking about the Sora from Kingdom of Hearts, whatever it's called. Anyway, he's a warrior, thinking of that warrior motion, is she, and so Rey here, also a warrior, is she lifting up the sword a little higher? Like, how can we move that needle, right? I don't want to mess with your leg here. Maybe I'll mess with it a little bit, like getting some motion there. So it's like getting a bigger swoosh, a big line of action there. And I wonder if we were to pull that up, thinking of that idea of, like that, like coming out here. Where's my body? There we go. Rah, I wonder if that would be a better use of the silhouette. Maybe get that arm under here. Again, you know, you can take this in a few different directions, right? But are you getting the most out of the pose? You know, instead of just going through the motions, hey, I did a drawing. It's like, I'm not saying that's what you did, but I'm just saying, like, all of us can do that, you know? And it's like, when we're pushing and we're experimenting in this type of an atmosphere with our workshop, or even going out and drawing in the wild, like just pushing and trying things out, it's like it's a great time to do that, you know, and really getting into the head of the character, you know. And so, you know, the lightsaber is obviously over the top here of that arm, but whatchamacallit, and then you could, you know, she has her pants here. This leg could be back here. I don't know. I think it's probably like that. And then her floppy cloths doing things and reacting to her, you know. So all that to say, so here, whoosh, you know, try to push that moment. Okay? Very good. One more, and I think we're going to move on with our weekend, right? Look at that. Very nice. Appreciate your submissions. Oh, wait, one more. Sorry. Mr. Corey Dude. This one may be a technical thing. Let's try to mess with that elbow. Let's see here. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm doing a quick tech thing here, guys. Sorry, hang in there. Don't fall asleep. Let's go. All right, so I don't know. I like what you did. The pose is cool. As far as like she's got her sword. I'm gonna lighten that a little bit more. Okay, her sword, her lightsaber. There's some interesting break happening here. The shoulder's going down, but the arm's going up, and this is stopping. So I'm gonna try to focus on that area a little bit, get some structure there. I'm just gonna try to keep what you got as far as your main body. I might choose to up and I might choose to make this a little longer. This looks like, did you ever see, whatchamacallit? Some of you guys in the chat, oh my gosh. Big Trouble in Little China. They had that kind of kung fu cool, what you call it? Gang sign? I don't know what you call it. It was awesome. And we totally have to do a Big Trouble in Little China week in our class. I would just love that. And I know she's using the Force here. Or she can be like, rock and roll, dude. Or I love you, Kylo Ren. But all that to say, I think there's some structured things we can mess with here. So if I'm going to draw it a little bit bigger, you have the rib cage, then you have your clavicle, right? And you're doing a great job at separating your parts and things. You see huge leaps in your improvement and just your growth. I know you're working really hard populating our feed with all the archive stuff, so great job. Okay, so you have your thing here, you have the muscles under here, the pectoral kind of comes up and around, and you get your deltoid, you know, shoulder stuff, then you have your trapezius in the back there, and then obviously her head, let's see, I don't know. You got that neck muscle wrapping around, kind of come to the pit there. And then you have your other deltoid back here. And then, all that to say, then you have your biceps coming out. And everything's kind of coming more at us, but these are the things to think about underneath the form. Might be over-exaggerating the muscles here for a female, but doing this, and at least for our model, I should say. But you're going to have these shapes, forearm overlapping that, and then the hand overlapping that using the force, right? But yeah, I kind of chose to just change the whole angle of the shoulders there to dip it down. And this one here, I almost want to, the other arm, I almost want to do this. I don't know, I kind of like what you did better. Let's see. Sometimes you got to choose one way to go or the other just so you could fix the silhouette. So it can either be like down and maybe pick this up, or the other way around, which I kind of like what you did. Let's try to figure this out. So she's gonna have this downward thing, so maybe elbow up. So maybe I'll just bring that slightly up to get that idea of your sword, or a lightsaber. I keep saying sword. Star Wars fans, please forgive me. Okay, so anyway, a little messy there, but where is it? Yeah. Okay. That's all I got, dude. Thank you, everybody, for submitting your wonderful work. That was fun. And again, for the members, yes, please submit your work for next week. And we'll be doing these on Saturdays now instead of Wednesdays, so I got to figure all that out. We're trying to move our feedback sessions just to fit schedules around here and stuff, but we're getting to it. Awesome. Checking that chat real quick. Hands and feet and hair, what? All right, hands more quickly. Yes. Getting caught up in the details, especially when it's a character holding or using something. I totally agree. I noticed, Dory, and some people in the on the Discord, on the Drawing in the Wild section, they had some really beautiful hand studies, and they were just practicing hands. So I would challenge it, and I got to do this too. I'm challenging myself. Got enough to do, but still, draw hands. You know, you have a hand model right here. Yeah. Okay, and you could draw, or if you're left-handed, switch your hand. What, you know what I'm saying? So whatever your free hand is, draw that thing. Do like a page, you know, and that's it. But that's it. That's all I got. You guys are awesome. Yeah, and we did whatchamacallit? We did do an Anatomy Bites lesson on hands. Actually, it was a while ago, so I'm not sure which day that was, but we'll get it added to our collection. All right, you guys have a great week, and yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for those you members who sat in today. Appreciate you. All right, bye.